Everyone is talking about eshays these days, and if you're a concerned parent, foreigner, or living in a bubble, you might not know what an eshay is. So let's have a squiz at the phenomenon of the eshay. To understand where eshays come from, we need to understand the origination of two parent subcultures, graffiti culture and searches. Graffiti culture is pretty self-explanatory, consisting of genuine street artists who also aren't strangers to the occasional shoplift for supplies or name brand clothing. The searcher culture, however, is more rooted in crime. Searching refers to making money by break-ins, looking for coins in tills, or just generally stealing and shoplifting. The searcher culture originated in the social housing suburbs of Sydney in the 80s and 90s. By the 2000s, the graffiti and searcher cultures had become intertwined, with participants taking on the street art aspect, from petty tagging to clever artworks, and also the crime aspects from the searchers. Around this time, the Australian hip-hop subgenres of gutter rap and lad rap were also mixed in. And now you had all the ingredients you needed to make a lad. The shoplifting performed by these lads is also known as racking, and targets specific designer clothing, mostly sportswear. The stereotypical items include Ralph or Tommy polos, sports shorts, any sports brand or designer cap, and then probably the most famous items, the Nike running shoes, from the Air Max to the Air Max Plus, famously referred to as the TN. I made a whole video about the history of TNs if you're interested. Now that we have the lad, how are they going to speak so the cops don't know about the crimes they commit? Of course, they use Pig Latin. So lad becomes adlay, dogs become ogdays, and sweet becomes itswa. And the actual word eshay may have derived from Pig Latin for yes or sesh, which is short for a session of substance abuse. Either way, these lads would go around saying the word eshay as a word of confirmation when performing an activity. When everyday folk began to hear this term, the lads became known by the name eshay. So any person or group seen in the typical clothing and spotted loitering at public transport stations and shopping centres were branded eshays. However, this is not the end of the story, because as we head into the smartphone era, eshays and lad culture became somewhat of a trend on social media. Character comedy acts of eshays began to rack up millions of views on TikTok. This inspired kids to want to be like eshays and beg their parents for a pair of Nike TNs and a polo shirt. Eshays even hit the mainstream when a character from the Heartbreak High TV show exhibited traits of lad culture. So these days the meaning of eshay has become distorted. Is an eshay a member of a genuine subculture of disadvantaged youth trying to make their way in the world? Or are they a kid or social media creator using the culture to hop on a trend? So remember, whenever someone gets called an eshay, you might know their name, but you sure as hell don't know their story, bruh.